And we're back. So, welcome. I am talking about what it means to become or how to become a doula, what's it like to be a doula, all that good stuff. While I clean my desk, because it looked like this, and I was getting distracted. So, this will keep me seated. Anywho, last time we were chatting, I had gotten down to how much doulas make. And to kind of wrap that up, I was talking about Medi-Cal that's available in California. I can't speak to other states, but they offer a stipend for families to have a birth doula that can support them. And it's actually pretty reasonable. And I think that that's a great way to make sure that folks have access to care. Let's see. I guess the next question is, how much doulas make officially? Well, that depends. You can make, say, if you have 2 clients every month and each client pays you $2,000, you do the math. If you do childbirth education or you do lactation, these all might add into the bucket. And it's up to you. Whatever you decide you want to do, you learn up on it, or you get buddy with somebody that's in this space so that you can also learn and you can add that to your repertoire. Next question is, what training programs, which ones do you suggest? And are they important? They are important if you are not familiar, and you simply having a baby and being a parent does not make you uniquely qualified to be a doula. Sorry, don't care what they say. You can't bring your birth experience and sometimes your baggage to someone else's birthing experience. It takes a little bit of time to get used to the idea that you are there to help someone make a choice. You're not there to make them make a choice. Does that make sense? A lot of times, just even as a society, right? That's not necessarily something, this is my pump. I usually pump over here. How about that? As a society, we tend to think we're saving folks from themselves and because we know better. Unfortunately, you don't know better about someone else's body, somebody else's life, their decisions and the reasons why they make their decisions. It's not our place to do that. I don't think it's anyone's place, but specifically a doula, we are there to bridge the gap for folks, and especially in medical spaces, but more importantly, so that folks feel empowered. You can't empower someone if you take their choice away. So anyway, I'm off my soapbox there. The next part that I will say is the trainings important? Yes, they're important. Is certification important? Not to me. I just don't, even the certification spaces where they are and who runs them also gives me like and there's been a lot of stuff going on in the last 3 or 4 years with a really large official certification place. And I've been seeing also organizations like Birth Advocacy, who's amazing. There's Cornerstone here I think they're in the Bay Area. There's Sister Midwives. They teach a doula class. Mama Glow Foundation. They're based in New York, but they offer virtual. And all of these places offer virtual doula training. If you're interested, go check them out. Go see if they align with you. They have an array of trainings too, where it's also expansive. So you're not just stuck in a spot. Some lean more on advocacy. Some lean more in like cool areas, like supporting birthing folks that with addiction, supporting birthing folks that are incarcerated. Some of these trainings are just so dynamic, and you get to choose that. And that's what I love about the current climate. And all of these places are relatively affordable. And what I mean when I say that is there are payment plans. So if you're working, which most of us are as we come into the birth space, you can take these classes. They happen over a number of weeks, or you can take some virtual. I highly suggest you take not just online classes. I highly suggest, especially if you're not familiar with it and you want to become familiar, do that. Secondly, you want to build community. And I think those courses from Birthing Advocacy, Cornerstone, Mama Glow, Bebo, these are all really great places that not only teach you, give you the information that you need, but they also give you community, which you also need. So one of the biggest misconceptions for any of us in birth work that aren't in hospital settings is that we, one, can do it all, we have to have a backup, someone to support us, someone to bounce ideas off of, right? You cannot be a one-man show. I mean, you could try. Some doulas do, but I have never found success in just being a lone wolf. Whenever I go into a labor and delivery situation, I'm texting one of my doula partners. Even if they're not my backup, they just keep me grounded. We're really on the same level, or they're more higher level than me, at least in my mind, whatever, right? And it's just a good way to like stay grounded. Where were we at? Damn, we're at 5 minutes already. Okay, so let me get to this part. Should you become a birth worker? Should you become a doula? Should you help someone in the continuum of birth, right? Whether it's fertility, whether it is in prenatal, birth, postpartum, in newborn care, should you do this? And I'm going to tell you that while anybody can be in birth space, doesn't mean you should. And if you have a desire, then give it a try. There is a business aspect that can take the passion out of it, but I want you to not be discouraged. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. And you don't have to do everything all at once. Hey, listen, I'm a type A queen. I actually get it. I want to do everything and all things. The level of training and certifications that I have is really unnecessary. I just love to go to the classes. I just love to meet new people. So it's definitely not necessary. And if you're interested to do that, go take a class. Don't do a full spectrum doula course. Do birth course or do a postpartum course. Postpartum courses, I think, are really great because they teach you some stuff that you don't really think about, and they teach you how to stay informed in the postpartum space because things have changed, medical advancements. Birth is birth, and they have their differences too, but I think postpartum is a good one too to think about. But start small, one thing at a time. You cannot be all things all the time, and you really want to hone in to see if you even want to do it. And I would really sit down and take the time out to like write down why you're doing it, who you want to help, and what settings you want to help. Not all doulas birth in every setting. I'm one of those doulas. I birth in hospitals, birth spaces, at home births. Some folks don't do home births. Some people strictly do not go into a hospital setting, full stop. And I get that. That's another misconception about doulas, right? We only help folks with home births. That's not true. There are those of us that are on the spectrum of how we support you, and you don't have to do all things. You can choose what you want to do. And I know amazing home birth doulas that specifically work in that space, and they are thriving. So, but yeah, so write down what's calling you to this work, what you desire to do, how you want to help, and in what capacity, and can you schedule time in your week, 1-2 hours a week, to just learning something in birth space or being in community with. And I'm telling you, being in community with other doulas and other birth workers is a lifesaver when you've hit a wall, when you're frustrated, when you're burnt out, when you just need guidance, when you need support. It's important. And building community, y'all, is a two-way street. It's the asking and it's answering and ask. And it's not always hands out, let me get something from you. I think if you're starting out, building community is seeing how you could be of service to other people. That's what this work is anyway. But practicing being in service of others. And yes, there are times where someone may not pay you or someone may hurt your feelings, but don't chalk that up to birth work. Chalk that up to human beings and learn a lesson. I've had people not pay me. There is people on this very app, very popular folks on this app that have not paid me. And you know what? I chalked it up. Now I learned my lesson. I now charge in a different way and make sure payments come through. But you know what I mean? Don't understand that this is humans' business and humans' business can be tricky. But now we're at 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, ask away, drop a comment, send me a DM. Happy to answer. Peace.